On August 4th, 2026, Google sent an email to Android users around the world with a single line that ended a 10-year era. Google Assistant on your mobile device is being discontinued. And September 4th is the date they chose. And what's happening on that date isn't a gradual phase-out or background update that most people won't notice. It's the permanent, irreversible removal of a system that has lived in the hearts of Android phones since 2016, replaced by something fundamentally different in ways that most coverage hasn't fully explained. There is no opt-out. There is no rollback. Once your device makes the switch, the assistant you've been using for nearly a decade is gone. Let's build the full picture of what this actually means, because the surface-level story, Google's AI is getting better, Assistant is being replaced by Gemini, everything will be fine, misses several specific things that users with established Android workflows absolutely need to know before September 4th arrives. The change is real, it's technical, and in a handful of specific areas, it removes functionality with no confirmed replacement. So let's start from the beginning, because understanding why this change is happening and understanding what Google Assistant actually was at a technical level is the only way to understand why the transition to Gemini is more complicated than replacing one voice icon with another. Google Assistant launched in 2016. At the time, it was presented as the intelligent layer between Android's search infrastructure and the devices people carried in their pockets. It expanded over the following decade into an ecosystem that few people fully appreciated in its breadth. Phones, tablets, Wear OS watches, headphones, smart speakers, car infotainment systems, televisions, and virtually every smart home device that had a Google logo on it. Hundreds of millions of people built daily routines around its voice commands, from the morning alarm that triggered a news briefing, to the hands-free reminder while cooking, to the live translation conversation that worked across a hotel lobby. What most of those people never consciously thought about was the architecture that made Assistant so fast and so reliable for those specific kinds of tasks. Google Assistant was built on what engineers call a deterministic semantic parsing system. In plain terms, it maintained a fixed library of recognized commands, matched them in constant time, and executed the corresponding action without generating any new language. And when you said, set a timer for 10 minutes, no AI language model was generating a response. The system heard a pattern, matched it to a known command, executed the timer function, and responded instantly. This is why Assistant was so precise and so fast, and why it worked reliably offline for certain command types. The response time was essentially zero from the user's perspective. There was no thinking happening, no generation, no variability. You said the thing, it did the thing. That architecture was optimized for the exact kind of task that tens of millions of people built their Android experience around, because those tasks were fast, predictable, and always worked the same way. Gemini is a completely different kind of system at the architectural level. It's a large language model that generates each word of its response sequentially, producing text through a probabilistic process that considers context and constructs a reply in real time. This is what makes Gemini capable of the conversational, multi-step, reasoning-heavy interactions that make it genuinely more impressive than Assistant on complex tasks. It's also what introduces a latency that simply didn't exist with Assistant's deterministic approach. Security researchers and technical reviewers who tested the transition documented the gap. Gemini adds approximately 380 to 620 milliseconds of cloud latency before it begins acting on a command, compared to Assistant's near-instant response. On the surface, half a second doesn't sound like much. In the context of hands-free voice commands in a car, or quick queries while cooking with hands covered in flour, or alarm setting at 6 in the morning while still half asleep, that gap is felt every single time. Here's the specific hardware detail that turns this latency issue from a minor annoyance into a permanent condition for many users. Google has developed a version of Gemini called Nano, designed for on-device processing, that eliminates the cloud round trip and restores the fast response times users associated with Assistant. On-device Gemini Nano v3 can close this speed gap, but the hardware requirements for this version are significant. It requires a 2026 generation flagship chip and at least 12 gigabytes of RAM. Read that against the devices people actually have in their hands today. The Pixel 9 series, the Galaxy S25 series, the flagship phones that represent the best of Android as of early 2026. Most of them don't meet the threshold for Nano v3 processing. The Pixel 9 and the Galaxy S25 will run Gemini through the cloud, with the associated latency, permanently, because the on-device acceleration they would need to eliminate that latency isn't available on their hardware. These aren't budget phones. These are the phones that Google and Samsung sold to their most engaged customers last year as the best Android experience available. And after September 4th, those customers will have a demonstrably slower Assistant than they had before. Now let's talk about what disappears and doesn't come back, because this is the most practically important part of everything this video covers. The question most people are asking about the transition is whether everything they currently use will work in Gemini. For most everyday use, the answer is yes with caveats. Alarms work, timers work, navigation queries work, quick factual questions work. These are the core commands that the majority of users reach for most often, and Gemini handles them. But for users who built specific workflows around Assistant's unique capabilities, there are specific features that are gone without replacement. Interpreter mode is the starkest example, and the one that will hurt the most people in the most unexpected contexts. Interpreter mode was a feature that allowed Google Assistant to act as a real-time bidirectional interpreter between 26 different languages, spoken naturally in conversation, with the translation handled continuously so that two people speaking different languages could have a fluent conversation. This was used in hotel lobbies, customer service settings, healthcare environments, educational contexts, and multilingual households where it had become a genuinely relied upon daily tool. Interpreter mode was removed from Google Assistant earlier in 2026, and as of August 2026, there is no Gemini equivalent. Not a worse version. Not an in-development version with a launch date. There is currently no Gemini feature that performs real-time bidirectional spoken interpretation across 26 languages. The functionality simply does not exist in the replacement system. Automated daily updates, the feature that allowed users to program a morning briefing combining personalized news, weather, and calendar information into a single daily summary triggered by voice or by time, has no confirmed Gemini equivalent. Family bell announcements and birthday reminder notifications, which were part of the Assistant integrated smart home and calendar ecosystem, were cut without confirmed replacements. Third-party podcast apps, certain radio services, and some music platforms that integrated directly with Assistant's voice layer face compatibility questions under Gemini that hadn't been fully resolved as of the shutdown announcement. The Verge, in its coverage of the September 4th shutdown, specifically noted that Gemini still has missing pieces in those day-to-day features, along with other familiar commands people already use. This is not speculation from critics of the change. It's an acknowledgement in mainstream technology reporting that the replacement system doesn't yet match the system it's replacing in every relevant dimension, enforcing Android developer verification in its first 4 pilot countries: Brazil, Indonesia, Singapore, and Thailand. This policy requires every developer distributing any Android application through any channel, including direct APK downloads, to register their real identity with Google, submit government identification, pay a fee, and enumerate their application package names. F-Droid, the open source application repository, has called this policy an existential threat to independent Android app distribution. The coalition opposing it, called Keep Android Open, includes 71 organizations from 23 countries, including the Electronic Frontier Foundation, the Free Software Foundation, and the Tor Project. The global rollout of this policy is expected through 2027. Separately from both of these changes, Google announced at the Android show I/O Edition that Android is moving from being described as an operating system to what Google is calling an intelligence system, with Gemini intelligence as the new foundational layer rather than an add-on feature. The first Google Books, a new category of Android-based laptops built by Acer, Asus, Dell, HP, and Lenovo, are scheduled to arrive between September and November 2026, and Android 17 QPR1, the quarterly platform release that typically coincides with new Pixel device launches and carries significant platform-level changes, is projected for September 2026. September and the weeks immediately surrounding it represent the single most concentrated moment of Android platform transformation in years, and the Google Assistant shutdown on September 4th is the most personally immediate and most universally felt component of that transformation. Here's what you should actually do before September 4th, because having the information matters less than using it. Start by reviewing which Google Assistant routines you have active. Routines are the custom voice-triggered automation sequences that users built over years to control smart home devices, play music, announce news, and handle any other task they wanted to automate. Open the Google Home app, navigate to routines, and go through every one of them. Some will transfer to Gemini with equivalent functionality. Some won't. Identifying which category each of yours falls into before the forced transition gives you time to either find a Gemini equivalent or find a third-party alternative before you lose the one you currently have. If you use interpreter mode regularly, this is the most urgent action item in this video. Start researching alternatives now, because there's no confirmed replacement coming through Google by September 4th. Microsoft's Translator application provides real-time conversation interpretation and is available on Android. Some third-party applications, specifically built for conversation interpretation between languages, exist on the Play Store. None of them are as seamlessly integrated as interpreter mode was at the Assistant level, but having something in place before September 4th is considerably better than discovering the gap after the fact. The next practical step is to check your news briefing and daily update setup. If you have a morning routine that triggers an audio briefing through Google Assistant, test whether the Gemini equivalent produces the same output. Gemini's approach to personalized briefings is different from Assistant's, and the specific podcast, news, or radio sources you added to your Assistant routines may not integrate the same way with Gemini. While you still have both available on your device, use the period before September 4th to test your actual routines, rather than assuming they'll work identically after the switch. For Wear. OS Watch users, the transition is worth planning around the smartwatch specifically. Wear OS watches that rely on Assistant for voice commands will see that functionality change as part of the phone's transition to Gemini, but the Gemini experience on a watch is more constrained by the hardware and screen size of the watch itself. Verify that the specific voice commands you use most frequently on your watch have confirmed Gemini equivalents before September 4th, because the watch's physical interface makes troubleshooting unexpected gaps more frustrating than doing the same thing on a phone. For Android Auto users in the phone projected configuration, consider the timing of when you'll encounter the transition. If you commute daily and rely on hands-free voice commands for navigation, music control, and messaging while driving, September 4th is not the day to discover that your voice commands have changed. The Gemini Android Auto experience was noted in testing as having improvements over Assistant for some driving-specific tasks, but the latency difference is most consequential in the car, where hands-free operation and quick response matter most, and where pulling out your phone to troubleshoot something isn't an option. Google's own language in the shutdown email is worth examining carefully because it reveals both what the company is confident about and where it's being careful. The phrase, "We are confident that Gemini will offer you an even more capable and helpful assistant experience," is a commitment to future potential rather than a description of current feature parity. Gemini nearing 1 billion monthly users and growing at a rate that Google says is nearly 3 times its user base from a year ago tells you something about where the product's momentum is. The company is betting that the long-term capabilities of a conversational AI model outweigh the short-term gaps in specific feature coverage. That bet may be correct. Google's position in the AI assistant space versus Apple's Siri and competitors like Microsoft's Copilot suggests genuine competitive urgency behind the timing of this transition. The forced migration isn't happening because Gemini is fully ready in every dimension. It's happening because Google has determined that the risks of leaving users on a legacy system they're no longer investing in outweigh the disruption of a transition that isn't complete in every specific area. The deeper story that September 4th represents isn't really about voice assistants at all. It's about what kind of AI role you want embedded in your most personal device. Google Assistant was built to be a precise tool that did specific things reliably. It was the digital equivalent of a well-trained personal assistant who knew your preferences and executed instructions without interpretation or conversation. Gemini is built to be something different, a system that understands context, engages in dialogue, reasons across your apps and files, and handles complexity through conversation rather than through pre-programmed command recognition. These are genuinely different philosophies about what AI assistance means, and the shift from one to the other on September 4th is a forced choice about that philosophy. Users who valued Assistant's precision and speed and reliability for quick commands are being moved to a system that prioritizes capability and conversational depth over those specific qualities. Users who wanted an AI that could help with complex, multi-step thinking and synthesis are getting exactly what they've been waiting for. Most people are somewhere between these two descriptions, which means September 4th will feel like an improvement in some dimensions and a regression in others simultaneously. There is no opt-out and no rollback. These are the two most important words in the shutdown email, and they define what makes this different from a standard software update that happens to change something you relied on. With most platform changes, if the new thing doesn't work for you, you can return to the previous version until you're ready, or until the new version has addressed the gaps that affected you. The September 4th transition specifically removes this fallback. Once your device makes the switch, the choice is made for you and it cannot be undone on that device. This is why the period between now and September 4th represents the entire window of meaningful agency you have over this specific change. After that date, agency shifts to adaptation. Google Assistant lasted exactly 10 years as Android's primary voice layer. It launched as a response to Apple's Siri and Amazon's Alexa, grew into one of the most widely used AI-adjacent products in history, and shaped the daily routines of hundreds of millions of people who learned to talk to their phones in ways that would have seemed science fiction to anyone watching those first 2016 demonstrations. Its replacement by Gemini isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of how completely the landscape of what AI is supposed to do has changed in a decade, and how much Google's understanding of that landscape has shifted along with it. The assistant that was designed to reliably execute 1,000 known commands is being replaced by a system designed to handle an essentially unlimited number of conversations with far more context, far more capability, and a fundamentally different relationship between the user and the machine. Whether that trade-off is right for you on your specific device with your specific daily habits and routines is a question worth thinking carefully about before September 4th removes the option of deferring the answer.